Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer with Oregon Coast Wasabi, and today's video is about grading wasabi. First, I want to tell you about the rhizomes. These little guys are wasabi rhizomes. We do sell them. Occasionally, we're out of them until the next crop becomes available, but in the meantime, we also have wasabi plant starts and our wasabi powder if you're desperate for wasabi. So you could get these either by growing your own, and if you get a wasabi plant start, it's going to take about 24 months to get a rhizome. I specifically chose small rhizomes so that you could see that if you have a plant and it's got a small rhizome on it, it's perfectly okay to grate that. You don't have to wait until they get big. So the second thing you need when you're grading wasabi is a wasabi grater. And these are the wasabi graders that we sell on our website. It's just a stainless steel grater. The important part about a wasabi grater is that it has small teeth, very small teeth, and it doesn't shred it. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit later, but these have very small teeth and they don't have any holes in them, okay? Other wasabi graters that you could use that you might see around are large ones like this one. And this grater is also probably sold as a ginger grater or sometimes garlic, but mostly like ginger or turmeric. So if you see something sold as a ginger grater, that'll work just fine too. Or sometimes you'll see these porcelain graters. Those work great as well. Porcelain is totally fine. So any kind of metal or the porcelain, you can see it has a lot of really fine teeth. And this one is designed so that the wasabi, after you grate it, is gonna fall down into the bowl. So that's what this one is designed to do. The one grater that we don't sell that people ask us about, because it's the most traditional grater, is the Sharkskin Grater. And the reason we don't sell Sharkskin Graters is because in my previous life, I was a marine scientist. And the Sharkskin Graters are most often made with angel sharks. And angel sharks are actually having some trouble in terms of their populations. And so because I feel like it's important to protect the sharks, we don't actually offer the Sharkskin Graters. The graters that I just showed you, other graters, they will work just fine. The thing that's not going to work very well if you want the paste is a microplane grater. So we have chefs that sometimes like to just use a microplane to finally grate the wasabi, to finally sort of tear it into little strips to put on top of salads and things, and it's actually delicious that way. But if you want the paste that you're used to with sushi, you don't want to use a microplane because you're not going to get that creamy paste consistency to it. All right, let's grate some wasabi. So first of all, obviously you're going to have a wasabi rhizome. If you buy it directly from us, it's going to be trimmed already, just like this. This is a very traditional trim for wasabi. And if you're going to take it off of your plant, remember again, we're using these small ones so that everyone can see that you don't need a huge wasabi rhizome from your plant in order to grate it. You're just going to trim it like this. You're going to trim the roots off of the bottom, and you're not going to peel it. So we get that question a lot. Wasabi doesn't have any skin on it, so if there's some dirt on your rhizome, then just use a vegetable brush. That'll work just fine. So this is what we're going to do. We have our wasabi grater, or maybe it's the ginger grater that you had in your drawer, and you're just going to grate it in a circular motion like this to develop the paste. When you have real wasabi paste, there's nothing else added to it. So the grating action on the grater is actually just what creates the consistency that you want. And what's happening here is if you bit into this whole wasabi rhizome, it wouldn't really be spicy at all. What you're doing when you're grating, and you can see the paste starting to develop, is you're actually opening up the cells and you're starting a chemical process. And the chemicals in wasabi are actually the same chemicals as are in mustard. So you're starting that chemical process, and that's actually what creates the hot, this really spicy wasabi flavor. And the wasabi flavor it's water-based. So that's why when you're eating wasabi, it goes up your nose and you get that flush and then it goes away because your saliva actually washes it all away, as opposed to the spice and chilies, which is oil-based, and then it sticks around. All right, so here we have our paste. So the next thing you want to do is use some type of a brush. This is a traditional wasabi it's a bamboo brush, but you don't need to use this. Any kind of, or a toothpick, anything that'll just help you get the wasabi off of the grater. So you want to get the wasabi off the grater, and you want to get it into a little ball. It's okay to use your fingers. Wasabi has a ton of antibacterial properties, so there you go. You want to get it into a ball because you want to keep it away from oxygen as much as possible. Let it sit for 5 minutes or so, and that's going to help to develop the maximum flavor. And then you're going to want to use it in about 20 minutes. So you're only going to really want to grate as much wasabi as you're going to eat at that sitting. If you want more later on in dinner, you can go ahead and grate yourself some more. If you've grated a whole bunch of it and it starts to go flat, put it into a bowl and whip some air into it with some toothpicks or a spoon or anything, and that'll help to reignite the chemical process. So let's just say this is all you're going to eat for a meal. Then take this, what's left over of your rhizome, and just put it in the plastic bag and put it in the refrigerator, and it'll last for weeks. All right, that's it. Enjoy. So that's how you grate wasabi. One other thing, storage. So these guys, Wasabi Rhizomes, actually have a fairly long shelf life of at least 2 to 3 weeks in your refrigerator. You're going to treat them like you would a carrot, so you want to keep them from drying out. You'll just keep them in a plastic bag with a little bit of damp paper towel, and they'll be totally fine. One other thing, don't freeze them. So if you have, somehow you have a ton of wasabi and you don't know what to do with it, you'll have to grate it first before freezing it, although we really don't recommend it. Push comes to shove, actually you can keep them for several months in the refrigerator. We've done that experiment, and that's what we would recommend. All right, everyone, thanks so much for being part of the Oregon Coast Wasabi community. Take care.